Alright, guys. Nazri's coming, alright. Admit. Alright. Okay, guys, we're going to start. The others can come in a little later.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good
Good
afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, doctor.
Okay. First basic question. Why accreditation? Why do we need this body to bring us into line, okay, and to make everything uniform? So when laboratories decide to join an accreditation agency, they decide that they will take part in the minimum quality control programs to ensure maximum accurate, reliable results. Accreditation is not compulsory so far as this decision was taken by the laboratory as an indication of their good intent. So I told you what was happening here. Patients went from lab to lab and same sample, 10 different results. So evidently there was a need to unify this process. And this process was unified by these accreditation bodies. Alright? And every lab should join this body, at least one or two, whatever, there are so many now, and get themselves accredited. Okay? So let's take a look at some of the agencies. I'm sure you know about it. These are third-party agencies which are neutral and unbiased, has to be. They have certain rules and regulations that they follow. To name a few of these agencies, NABL, CAP, JACO, that's my short form for it. There are other agencies from UK, Australia. They also offer accreditation and external quality assurance programs. These are just a few which are very popular, and like I said, there are quite a few many. So in our country, NABL is very popular. So National Accreditation Board of Testing Labs is based in Gurgaon and is an autonomous body under the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. It is composed of well-qualified assessors who may be MDs, PhDs or MScs with years of experience. NABL provides third-party assessment of the quality and technical competence of testing and calibration laboratories. Right? And so there's a process you have to undergo with them, register, and carry out what is basically needed. So a laboratory can apply for accreditation with their particulars. Fees are applicable. There are free downloads on the website which will tell you how to write your quality manual, etc. Writing of quality manual requires skill and concentration. Refer to document section number is 112. Also have copy of international standards ISO 15189 handy. Therefore, we have sent you 12 and we've also sent you 22, which is now operational. There are 5 sections in it, that's 12. Scope, terms and definitions, management with 15 subsections, and technical with 10, and I think we've gone through some of it last time. As against 22 you've seen has 8 different sections. Whole process from application to arrival of lead assessors may take about a year for accreditation, right? So the first step is to apply. Then of course you've got the College of American Pathologists, which we are going to see tomorrow, next Thursday, right? It's based in Illinois. It's composed exclusively by pathologists, certified by the American Board of Pathologists, and is widely considered a leader in laboratory quality assurance. It currently inspects and accredits laboratories all over the world, and they're very popular in India too. It provides resources and guidance to laboratories seeking accreditation in programs of ISO 15189 and more. they also follow 15189. Their proficiency testing programs are intensive and well patronized, and let me say, all pretty expensive, but worth getting into this. All right. So the symbol is below, and then you've got JACO, Joint Commission of Accreditation on Healthcare Organizations, based in Chicago, Illinois. The international branch accredits healthcare organizations and medical services around the world, and they are into India also a fair amount. Then get familiar with some of these terms. CLSI, which was previously known as NCCLS. Please refer to their websites for information for all lab guidelines, and CLSI is the base. So CLSI stands for Clinical and Laboratory Standards Institute. Provides standards and guidelines to medical professionals through its unique consensus process. Previously it was known as NCCLS. This is how it became CLSI. This is for your reference. National Committee of Clinical Laboratory Standards. It is a premier international agency for accreditation and approval of educational programs in clinical laboratory sciences and medical health professionals. So the symbol is below, CLSI. Get familiar. Accreditation in India. Laboratories can opt for either NABL, CAP or JACO to get their labs recognized for accreditation and quality medical reports. Got tremendous advantages. At the beginning. Nazin, you're saying something?
Yeah, I may turn off my screen for some time, but I'm listening.
Huh?
Yes, I may turn off my screen for some time.
Okay,
But
all
I'm
right.
listening.
Okay, all right. Okay. We'll continue.
I'm listening.
Dr. Shubha is coming. Hello.
Just a second, Dr. Shubha is saying something.
Just join. I'll let you in.
All right. She'll let us know when she wants to come. She's a little busy. All right. What's next? Come on. All right. Next one. We've gone through this. So we come to interlab comparisons, which was at 5.6 in 2012. And if you were to take a look at your 22, 5.6, ensuring quality of examination procedures has become 7.3.7 into 22, ensuring the validity of examination results. Okay, so this is on page 59. All right, we'll get back to it. So 5.6, what did it say? A laboratory shall participate in these programs appropriate to the examination and interpretation of examination results. The laboratory will monitor these results of these programs, and it will implement corrective actions from certain criteria that are not fulfilled. The procedure will be documented.
Who will it come in?
Pardon?
Look, Janji.
Huh?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
The procedure will be documented.
No,
she's on her.
Thank you so much.
The procedure will be documented, and the programs will cover the tests of the laboratory. And the tests of the laboratory comes under the heading of scope. All right? That's your menu. Outliers in the proficiency testing program, that's something that's not online. If outliers are present in the program, the root cause analysis, underline that root cause analysis, corrective and preventive actions has to be taken and documented, and there's a special form for that. For these reasons, an absolute perfect IQC, internal quality control of the laboratory, is essential for each parameter. And I think we did speak about that last time. Machines must have AMCs and regular PMs, annual maintenance contracts, and preventive maintenance. Internal audits, very essential to correct existing faults, and we are going to see it next Thursday. Proficiency testing continues from part 1, also known as EQA, External Quality Assurance. There are various agencies that are qualified to send you samples in India and abroad. Each lab may select one or two of their choice. So it's got tremendous advantages. So you have to apply, you pay the fees, and they will send you the sample. Now, I think Biorad and the others are quite popular in India. They send you the samples for the whole year, January, February, March, it's labeled, all right? Whilst others like CAP sends you samples regularly, monthly, bi-monthly, and you continue with that, all right? And it is good to have at least have accreditation from one agency, some third-party agencies. And in India, most of us go with NABL, all right? The procedure of PT or proficiency testing or EQA scheme is generally for participating laboratories, and this is continued from the previous presentation. Once the samples are run, results emailed to the said agencies. So you only have to run it once and send it off. The results are collected and analyzed, and the results reported back to each laboratory. Anonymity is preserved by assigning each laboratory a number. Laboratories producing poor quality results can seek advice from PT scheme organizers to improve their performances. In laboratories undertaking chemical analyses, a standard method of comparison is the Z-score. Now just keep in mind, once the sample, let us say you're opening the sample for July, run the, for chemistry you have to put distilled water, let it sit for some time, run it and send the results off. You're not supposed to compare it with any other lab. You're not supposed to rerun it. Okay? Whatever you've got, once you run your days control, you have AMC, you have your contracts, preventive maintenance is done, please be honest and send it off. These agencies will get back to you in a few days' time, and they will give you a piece of a couple of papers to tell you how you scored with the other peer labs. So these will be labs with the same equipment, same procedures, and so on. All right, and it's quite informative. So we're asking why EQA? Why do we get into this? By participating in EQA programs, the laboratory and its management ensure for themselves a quality for the laboratory and their patients. The lab results are compared with other labs having the same instrument and same procedure. Good comparability will ensure the lab management that the results that they give patients are reliable and accurate, and that is what is most needed. And now it's become so popular that even patients know that they would prefer to have their results done in an accredited laboratory. Quality, they say, is like character in a person. In this case, the laboratory management. Okay. Then sometimes you cannot get into a EQA program for a particular parameter. All right. So there are alternative approaches. If proficiency program is not available for a particular analyte, the laboratory can and must use these methods. So certified reference materials, CRMs, we spoke about that last time. Samples previously examined, retained samples. Exchange samples with other laboratories using same machines and reagents. All results compared and documented. So this is split sample analysis, as we call it. You do it, you send it off to another lab uses the same machine and the same principle, and see how you score. Okay. The benefits are as follows. good results, few non-conformances, tells the management that the lab is performing well. The machines are fine-tuned, AMC and PM done, calibration up to date, IQC steady, good technology and technologists. The final assessors will be pleased and will seriously consider an accreditation certificate for the lab. The battle is won. So this is not very easy. Like I said first, you see to it that your machine is under AMC and your machine is serviced regularly, your PM is done. And once the PM is done, the calibrations have to be run. Then your base IQC, right? 3 levels, 2 levels of control. Okay? At the end of the month, work your mean SD, CV percentage. Keep an eye on the SD. The SDs have to be very constant. And your CVs for a couple of parameters have to be under that percentage. This means that the mean of that analyte of your control is steady. If your means fluctuate, all your results will go topsy-turvy. And I'm sure in this week you all have gone and taken a look at Excel, and you found out that little equation where you can concentrate and calculate P in SDCV. It's very simple. I think some of you wanted to come over to my lab. Maybe you can see it at that time. If you haven't got the hang of it, it's quite easy. Then you can practice it. So once your AMC and PM is done, calibrations are up to date, and your IQC is steady because you have to log it in, you document it. Good technology and technologists. So this, when you're having a new tech, you have to train the person into this. He or she may not be aware of what is happening, how to calculate mean STCV, how to log your Levy-Jennings charts, and how to see that you are under 1 to S plus minus. So your Westgard rules come into play. The final assessors, so once this is steady, like I told you, when they come for final assessment, they will check your QC books. And if they see that you have very few non-conformances, and you've closed the non-conformances in the right manner, they will be pleased. They will not give you an NC then, otherwise they may give you an NC again that you haven't done well. And once they seriously consider you for accreditation, the battle is won and you get the certificate for the parameters you have mentioned only. You can only use your NABL accreditation for those parameters which were there on the scope. Alright? Then there's a section called comparability of examination results. Procedures, equipment and methods to compare with different machines should be documented at clinically appropriate intervals. Now, sometimes, and most of us do, have a backup. We have two instruments. You're supposed to run your controls on both and compare it, log it down to see if there's a difference. If there's a great difference, then you will not be able to proceed. For example, hemoglobin done by Drapkins in a semi-automated machine, and that on a 3-part instrument or 5-part, has to be compared and must tally within 5 to 7% of each other. Laboratories will inform users of any change in their reference range or instruments. Yes, so if your normals change, you will have to inform the doctors as well as the patients. Okay, laboratories will inform users of any change in their reference ranges and instruments. But remember, a good lab has to have backup. You can't rely on just one instrument. So if you've got one completely automated chemistry machine, you may have one very good semi-auto analyzer. Compare, if you're doing the sugar on completely automated, compare your sugar results on semi-automated. If you're doing cholesterol on one, cholesterol on the other. You're doing some enzymes on one, enzymes on the other. And you log down the results. And it has to tally within 5 to 7% of each other. Okay. Similarly, the results you're sending out, okay, your split sample, you can say that 5 to 7, or you can say maximum 10% can be allowed. All right, then you'll have to write it down in your quality manual as well as in your procedure manual. So if 5.6 deals with storage and disposal, it's interesting. The laboratory will decide the time period for retention of CBC samples and the temperature. Disposal will only be done after that. Safe disposal of samples can be carried out in accordance with local regulations or recommendations of waste management. Now this comes into play, right? So this again is the extension of 5.6, and we will see what happens in the 22, all right? Okay. So your waste management, how you discard, where you discard, what are the color bags, that it becomes important. So we said disposal continues. Each state and its government have regulations for disposal of biomedical waste, right? So you have to become a member of a biochemical waste association, and there are few all around India and the big cities. Usually there are agencies that are capable of picking up these samples and disposing samples in a scientific manner. One pays these agencies for regular pickup, and they will supply colored bags for the same. Red, yellow, blue, black, and you have to know which bag is to be used for what. They will also pick up sharps containers with discarded, burnt and cut needle and syringes. So get familiar, sharps containers and different color bags, and we'll see what they are used for. So once you're with the agency, they will supply the bags, and they will, depending on the load, you can tell them come twice a week or 5 times a week or come every day, and you have to pay them accordingly. So color-coded bags today. Yellow bags, infectious waste bandages, gauzes, cotton or any other things in contact with the body fluids, human body parts, placenta, etc. Red bags, plastic waste such as catheters, injections, syringes, tubing, IV bottles. I'm sure you're familiar with these catheters. Catheters usually could be intravenous, or it could be the urinary catheter also. Blue bags, all types of glass bottles and broken glass articles. Outdated and discarded medicine, blue bags. Black bags, needles without syringes, blades, sharps, and all metal articles. So for your sharps containers, there's a special plastic container where you will put your cut syringe needles inside so it doesn't hurt anybody, and then discard it. All right. So you've got the yellow bag, all right, black bag, blue bag, and so on. Okay, let's see. These some details. Segregation of solid biomedical waste. And when you're training for NABL, you need this. So non-infected waste, cytotoxic drug and chemical waste, black containers. And if it's discarded, a chemical treatment is done and secured landfilling. Then you've got the infected waste. First is the red bag, infected drainage, POP cars, and so on. Red containers. It is first autoclaved, and there's a deep burial. See how it's discarded. Then you've got anatomical waste, placenta, pathological waste, and body parts. It goes in the yellow bag. Deep burial. Infected plastic, syringes, gloves, and plastic waste, blue bag. And it's got, all of them have the symbol. Huh? Have you seen the symbol? Right. So this is disinfected with chlorine into the recycler. Then you've got sharps, which you have, I told you is a special bottle container for it, white plastic container, and it goes into the sharps pit. Method of disposal. And this goes to a common treatment facility, it's a special facility, and they take care of what we've given them. It says note, use any colored bin other than black, red, yellow, blue or white for disposable of general waste. Alright. Then something extra and important, that those are your needle stick injuries, and all of us have been through it sometime or the other. We have to be very careful. The laboratory will lay down protocols in case needle stick injuries happen. Blood to be squeezed out of the finger immediately, washed in running water. That's the first thing, you go, take it out. Antiseptic applied, injury report to the director, certain steps to be followed to determine exposure code. Alright? So step 1, determine exposure code. How deep was the injury and what was compromised? Was it just a superficial bit or was it deep? What was the volume that was injected into your finger? Few drops, large drops. Solid needle, superficial scratch or deep puncture, depends on what has gone into your finger mostly. Step 2, determine the HIV status of exposure code. So get back to your patient, do an HIV negative, no PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis, get familiar with this terminology. HIV positive, God forbid, high exposure is considered as SC2 treatment to be decided by the physician. Status unknown, to be determined by the physician. Technologist to be monitored for some time. Treatment continues. So even the tech, if it's positive, has to be given antivirals. Then you've got, this is determined by the physician, and treatment must start immediately in the minimum 4 weeks. Drug therapy with antivirals is recommended. Post-exposure code, alright? So we now come to quality and quality assurance. I think we spoke a little last time. Summing up, each technologist must remember, it's important that each one of us refer to ISO 15189 2012 Book of Standards, and now I'm telling you, you also have to refer to 22. Each one of us should study the quality manual of your laboratory, and that's your, like I said, I have always considered it the Bible, and I've written so many. Know the difference between quality assurance and quality control. I've given you the example, right, of how the Japanese made their cars and why the Japanese cars were so superior, because each step, each module was tested before the final car came through. We hope that these two presentations will help you in your daily lives in the laboratory. Okay? Any questions? All right, I'll you remember I said we gave you 15 and 12 and we gave you 22, and I think luckily Nazdeen brought this up with me on Monday, and I said it would be a very good thing to give it to you right in the beginning. So we said 5.6, if you will go back, if you have your copy or you have it on your laptop, ensuring quality of examination results was 5.6 in 12. It has become ensuring the validity of examination results, 7.3.7 in 22. 5.6.1, the subsection general, 7.3.7.1, again it says general, and it continues. 5.6.2 is quality control, 7.3.7.2 is internal quality control, IQC. You see, like I said, see what 22 has done is, you know, it's magnified the language of 12, so that's easily understood. So again there you've got 5.6.2.1 general, you've got quality control materials, quality control data. I think we went through it in the last presentation, and all this is covered in 7.3.7.2. Then of course you've got internal comparisons, inter-laboratory comparisons. 7.3.7.6 is external quality assurance assessment. There you in 12 you've got participation in alternative approaches, analysis of inter-laboratory comparison, evaluation of laboratory performance. I think we saw it in the present lecture, okay? Then 5.6.4 in 12 became 7.3.7.4, comparability of examination results. Very similar. 7.5.7 becomes post-examination. Here it becomes post-examination process. Very similar, but like I said, what 22 has done is magnified what was in 12. You can take a look at it yourself. The language has changed slightly. The clauses have changed slightly. So in 12, you had 5 sections. In 22, you've got 8 sections and subsections. And you can see the whole thing. Everything is covered. It goes up to 7.6.3 quality control data. Everything what you covered in 12, 22 also has it, but it's magnified and the language is easier. So please do take a look at this table and understand what is the difference between the two. Any questions? Nazneen? It's not there. Okay. Sit down. Bye. Any questions? So please, I've given you the soft copies. I suggest if you can print it out and look at the annexure starting on page 59. All right, it's very, very interesting if you are interested, and if you'll want something more on that, we will come back to it maybe a little later. Parul, Meena, Parizad, any questions? Have you understood how to compare? Because if you had a printed copy, it will have become easier. Dr. Chogle, anything from you? Dr. Chogle? Nazin is disappeared somewhere. What did she do? Parul, Meena, Parizad, Dr. Chogle, unmute and we can hear you.
That is, internal controls audits are very important. So far as you know how much you are ranking in your level at the laboratory, and very, very important because you know immediately. Very important to correlate with the people who are using the same machine, the same methodology, the same reagents, which we call them as peer group. And it is very important because the other labs with other methods, this thing can vary, the results can vary. So it's very important to do the internal audits so that we know where we stand and where we can send our results. Very, very important. Then only the people, once your results are good, then only the people will have consistency in the results, will start relying on you, they will start sending the work to your lab, and which will make you happy.
Because that is the most important work of the quality manager. At the beginning of the day, middle of the day, end of the day. Because if your IQC is not spot on, then at least you'll have to. At least what I did was I told them stop. And it happened very rarely, but it has happened. That I was not happy and I said stop. They're not proceeding. And like I said, the techs have to be trained into this. And another important part of this is your internal audits, which we're going to take in the next Thursday. Your internal auditor is very important, and your internal auditor has to have experience, and your internal auditor has to be very kind and patience to see, because NABL will give you a checklist for internal auditors on what lines, on what basis you correct the lab. Because if you work in the chemistry lab, you can audit hematology or microbiology or immunology. If you're a hematologist, you can audit another lab, other department. And you have a checklist, you go by the checklist, and wherever you find that it's not meeting up to standards, you give a non-conformance. You fill out a form and tell them that this section we are not happy with, you quote the section, and you give them 10 days, 15 days, 10 days to complete the non-conformance on those lines. And once it is completed, go check, and once they've done it, that non-conformance is corrected. So the final analysis, when the assessors come, it works. It makes your work and my work very, very easy.
Ma'am, you're running the controls 3 times a day. That means
Depends on the load. What is your load? How many? You have 50 samples? Then maybe once a day. If you're running 300 samples, maybe thrice a day. More?
If it is more than 300 samples, thrice a day.
Huh?
If it is more than 300 samples,
Yeah.
thrice a day.
Yeah.
3 times.
and calibration just once or depending. Calibration.
Calibration, once the calibration, it will show you the calibration is outdated. Then you can run the sample. You have to calibrate the chemistry and then only run. This Johnson dry chemistry slides have got a robust calibrations, and the other wet chemistry analyzers, they are depending, like BUN has to be calibrated every 24 hours, or the rest of the chemistry is calibrated every 13 days. Because I was using wet chemistry as well as dry chemistry, but dry chemistry, I'm very sure we used to have that robust calibrations. Only once there is where we save, we don't have to do calibrations again and again. Once only if something is out, the results are out, or if we have changed the lamp, or we have got something out there, we have to calibrate, run a control, and then only run a test and report the results.
Shubha, you know your dry chemistry is based on the principle of reflectance. So your controls and all are very robust. As against liquid chemistry has chances of going astray on the
Yes.
machine too.
Yes.
Understand? So the advantage that is of dry chemistry reflectance, and here you're measuring colorimetric, photocalorimetric, etc.,
Yeah.
etc., etc. That is the reason why you have to be very careful with liquid chemistry.
Yes. We have to look, because BUN has to be in liquid chemistry. BUN has to be calibrated 24 hours, every 24 hours, and the others are 13 days. Some are 10 days. Because in liquid chemistry, we have got, especially when we were running on Synchron, that time we used to have those arrow packs. And the arrow packs, once they become dirty, because we are very close to the sea, once they become dirty, they will show their color, and those arrow packs have to be changed. Because these arrow packs, if they are not changed, then they may give you haywire results. They may give you wrong results with the controls. So that is why the arrow packs, the row packs have to be changed every time they become dirty. You need to replace, fresh arrow packs. Fresh. The same principle, I think, is with our filters also, water filters also.
No, that's the reason why your AMC, your annual maintenance contract is important, your preventive maintenance is important. And once the preventive maintenance is done, we drill it into the heads of our techs that you have to run the calibrations. So without the calibrations, it's no good.
Preventive maintenance is done. We have to, once the preventive maintenance, or if the bulb is changed, you have to do the calibration. We have to run the control, We have to have. So then only once everything is in shape, you need to start giving the patient's results. And at least 3-4 samples you have to outsource them also, so that we can compare our test results with the other labs who are having peer groups, like they are using the shape machine, they are using the same reagents, they are using the same calibrators, same controls. Then we are truly happy that our results are going up to the mark. Otherwise, the clinician, there can be a red alert from a clinician that you are not doing well. They will send sample to the other lab for a check. And if the value to the other lab, and that too, that lab has to be a NABL or NABH accredited lab, CAP accredited lab. And once if the results, your results are not matching with those results, then you add it. You have to have a proper name in that scenario.
With NABL, once a year, all your test parameters on the scope have to be compared with another NABL or CAT lab.
Yeah.
And the results you have to note it down for your assessors to come and see. Once a year, you have to run that exercise. There's no way out.
There has to be a memorandum of understanding and MOU, and then we send it to the other lab, those who are accredited, CAP accredited, and NABL accredited, and NABH accredited. We used to send it to we used to send it to suburban. No, we used to send it to SRN labs, and also Metropolis, because some of the tests we used to compare with Metropolis. You have to be very, very careful while doing your quality control, because quality control is the need of the day, where you know that you are up to the mark. The right result at the right time on the right patient is absolutely very, 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 very essential.
All right. If everything's okay, can we end for the evening? Any other questions? Parul, Farizat?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
We'll
you,
see you
ma'am.
next
Thank
next
you,
Thursday,
doctor.
and that is with your internal audits. Okay. But like I said, I would, if you would like, do print out your 22 and compare
Yes.
if you
I've
want.
already got it done, ma'am. I've already got it done.
Okay. Thank you. We'll see you. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless.
you.
See ya. See ya. It's complete now.